Welcome to episode 91 of the Thunder Underground podcast. My name is Trent. I'm joined by Jason. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great. If
91 was a year, if we were 91, there'd be a lot of good music.
Yeah.
But there is good music on this podcast.
25 years later and there's still good music.
I know. And we're going to get into all that right now.
Right. This week, or this episode, Ted Aguilar from Death Angel is our guest.
Yes.
And that's great to say because Death Angel is badass.
Yes. They were and they are, and yes, they always will be.
Yes. So we're going to get to that here in just a bit. We're going to talk about seeing them live as well. And before we do that, as we do, we like to play some music for you. And if you have a band and you want to send us some music, it's thethunderunderground@gmail.com. We'll play it if it's good. If it sucks, we probably won't play it.
I mean, yeah, that's really the only criteria.
Yeah.
So, get with it, people.
Okay.
Don't suck.
And so now we're about to play this song, so that means that it does not suck.
It does not at all.
This is Less Than Human out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. This song's called Admit One. Admit One from Less Than Human, straight out of Oklahoma, which we love to do. We bring you stuff from all over the place, but of course our heart lies in Oklahoma.
That's right. We love Oklahoma and we love Tulsa, and always great to play some metal from our hometown.
Yeah. And you said the word metal, and that's what these guys are bringing. It's just straight up balls out metal.
Yeah, I mean,
I love it.
Yeah, and this song especially is just, it hits you over the head just right out of the gate, which is the kind of stuff I love.
Yeah.
And, these guys really seem to have a vibe around them. So it's, and they're young, and I can't wait to see where they go.
Yeah, you always see positive things about them from people that have seen them live.
Yes.
And just listen to their music in general. And it's, you see positive things about a lot of bands, but it just seems they're one of those bands, like you said, that vibe, you see it a little more often.
Yeah.
And that's great. And, we've talked to them. I met most of them out there at the Roots show, the Max and Igor Cavallero show. And they're all great people. And I know you had talked to a couple of them when they opened for Trivium.
Yeah, I bought a koozie from them.
There you go.
And we saw them with Trivium, about a year ago, or almost a year ago.
Yeah, it was early this year.
Yeah, true. And I mean, they were just awesome. And, our buddy Trevor, he put on his Instagram, a video clip from their show. And, I like what they're doing with the podium and and throwing out the confetti and all the stuff. And I mean, that's just, they're really setting up a show. And I think that's only going to help their vibe and help their, help their appeal and help get their word out.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I like seeing that kind of shit.
Yeah. I just love the vocals too. They're intense and in your face. And just metal.
That's right. So you gotta check these guys out.
Yeah. Do It Less Than Human. They're on Facebook. Get on there, like them, follow them. They're on Reverb Nation. They're on SoundCloud. This song, there's another song up there, and I know they've got some live videos on their Facebook and YouTube as well. So check all that out. They're playing October 21st in Tulsa. They're opening for Psycho Stick at the Shrine.
That's right.
And then the week after that, October 29th, they're playing I think it's a house party in Broken Arrow, but it's a all invite type thing with a few other bands, and it's a Halloween party because it's October 29th.
Yeah.
So just get on their Facebook if you live in the Tulsa area and look that up for the address and get out there and see these guys.
Yeah, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah. Well, speaking of crazy, we saw Slayer. We saw Anthrax and we saw Death Angel all in one night.
I know.
And it doesn't get much better than that if you love thrash, which if you listen to this podcast at any point in time, we do.
Oh, yeah.
So where to begin?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm still kind of hurting.
Yeah.
I mean, we can just begin with, you can just start off the night with Death Angel. I mean, as far as, I mean, I wish they would have played longer. The first time I've ever seen him, and it was pretty nuts. And it was, these guys are professional and they sound amazing. And, I really liked that, even though, Slayer had two bands opening for him, there wasn't any kind of restriction on sound or anything, or everything sounded amazing. Everything sounded great. It was just, and Death Angel brought it, and, they spanned their career in the short time they got. So it was great. Yeah.
It was only, I think 6 songs, but like you said, they hit everything from the early stuff to the last couple albums, and you can't ask for more in a 35-40 minute set.
Yeah.
And I can't express enough how great this album is. Like I told you, I put it above most everything this year except Anthrax maybe.
Yeah.
Even Megadeth and other bands that I've loved my whole life that have great albums out this year. And I'm sure I know we'll be talking about it at the end of the year on the best of.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
The Evil Divide, it's just phenomenal metal album. And, the last one, The Dream Calls for Blood, and everything they've done has been great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they've always kind of flown under a lot of people's radars, I think. And I noticed that actually after, when I was standing around between them and Anthrax, I heard 2 different conversations at 2 different points of people saying, man, that band was really good. And then someone else in another conversation was like, talking about how they had heard of them but never heard them, and they were really good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we talked about in the interview too.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's cool that, people are seeing this band and either rediscovering them or actually just discovering them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great bill for them to be on, so it works.
Yeah. Well.
What'd you think of Anthrax?
I mean, there's no wondering what I thought of Anthrax at any point. I mean, it's one of my favorite bands. It always has been. They're always great live. You know what you're going to get, outside of, a set list, but what kind of quality you're going to get.
Yeah.
Joey Belladonna, I don't know how old he is now, but he still sounds phenomenal.
Yeah.
And we've talked about that before. I think he almost sounds better now than he used to sound.
I get that.
And they played 9 songs, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and 6 of them were from the last 2 albums, which I thought is kind of ballsy but awesome at the same time.
Oh, definitely. I mean, what bands from that era do you see do that? You know, except
Right.
for like Metallica or something or whatever, and they can do that because people know them, people love them. They're better. They're just as good as anything they ever did.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah, I mean, his last 2 albums are that great that even if you don't know the songs, you're hearing it and realizing, well, this is great.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe it's doing what it should do for them, and people are going out and buying, For All Kings or worship music.
Yeah.
Based off of seeing them live opening for Slayer and hearing several of these songs. Because you can't say enough about how great those 2 albums are.
Oh yeah, I mean they're perfect heavy metal.
Yeah.
And I think that I do think that it took a dip during Breathing Lightning, which pissed me off. I wish people would have. I wish people would have reacted more to that.
Oh, a dip in the crowd reaction?
Yeah, I mean, I wish people would have got into that more because it's an amazing song. So that kind of disappointed me, the crowd. Anthrax didn't disappoint at all.
Right.
And, I just, and then, Charlie wasn't there, so that was weird.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I hadn't even heard of, it's happened several times the last few years, but I hadn't heard about it leading up to this.
Yeah, they don't even say anything anymore. Just get John Deed in there or whatever,
Right.
For whatever the hell Charlie's got going on, because he always seems to have something going on. So who knows? But
Well,
I mean,
But
go ahead.
you mentioned Breathing Lightning. Yeah, I wanted to point it out that I'm extremely happy they played this and they're playing it on tour. I mean, I know they're pushing it as a single and stuff, but because you might not see them for a couple years again or something, and then they might not have in the set list. And to me, that song is just unbelievable. Probably the best song that I've heard in 2016, and
I mean that song has everything. It's got heavy, it's got riffs, it's got a hook, it's got amazing vocals, it's got a fucking solo that you can sing along to.
To quote Richie Cavalier, a stadium solo.
Stadium solo, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Richie Cavalier, for that. And that's exactly what it is. I mean, this song has everything.
And it's the guy from Shadows Fall playing a stadium solo.
Yes.
That's what makes it even cooler.
He finally gets his due. So, I mean, it's just, it's a perfect song, and to see people just kind of like looking around during it. I wanted to punch so many faces, Trent. I just wanted to start punching faces.
Yeah.
And, so, I don't know. Anthrax was, the highlight for me.
They played March of the SOD.
Yes,
and
they sure did.
And I looked through some old set list on this tour, and they'd played it, I think, one at a time.
Really?
They're not playing it every night. And
Yep.
they even played, like, In the End, and they hadn't been playing that.
Yeah.
So we got a little bit mix up. Normally they're playing Got the Time, and I can't remember what the other song they moved out was for that, but...
Well, for Dime, I guess,
Yeah,
Dallas,
maybe because it was Dallas.
all
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, both of us geek out over Anthrax at any point, so it's like, it's going to be a stellar review.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. It's like, I don't want to take away from Slayer. I love Slayer. But when Anthrax is in the building, I can't, that has to be my first priority. It's just how it is.
Well, this goes exactly back to, that's what I wanted to mention when we talked about, we had Reed Mullen from COC on his podcast a while back.
Yeah.
Go check that out. It's badass. The band opened for Lamb of God. This Lamb of God, who we love, and they're a kick-ass live band. Everybody knows that.
Yeah.
They had Clutch and Corrosion and Conformity opening up for them.
Yeah.
And leading up to that show, I just wasn't ever even thinking about Lamb of God.
Yeah.
Because I love those other bands so much, and seeing them live, to me, is always a little bit bigger deal than seeing Lamb of God, even though I like them.
Yeah.
And I kind of had that same feeling leading up to this show. I love Slayer. I've loved everything they've ever done. I love seeing them live. But I was just thinking about Anthrax and Death Angel.
Yeah.
Because I've only seen Death Angel once. I love this new album. And, of course, we talked to Ted. And then Anthrax goes without saying. So after those two happened, then I'm like, oh yeah, now I get to see Slayer. This is badass. So you know,
icing on the cake.
Yeah. And well, speaking of, if you've seen Slayer, you know what you're gonna get, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, some bands that could be a bad thing, but with Slayer, you're just gonna get a pummeling show. You know, upside down crosses.
Oh man.
You know, red lights, and then 4 guys that are just fucking bringing heavy metal balls out.
And that's right, dude. I love their intro with the curtain and the crosses, and they slowly start turning upside down.
Yeah,
that's just badass. I'm going to hell for it, but that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, one thing we did notice, or Jason Carroll pointed out, Kerry King didn't have on his big spikes.
Yeah, his big umlaut looking thing, whatever the fuck it's called. I don't know.
He always has that on for the first part of the show, and he didn't have that on. I don't know. Yeah, what's up with that?
Maybe it's getting heavy.
Yeah.
He's getting up there in years. You never know.
There you go. Yeah. But they had a killer set list. It had several songs from Repentless on it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you know, it spanned the career. And, you know, of course, it was heavy on all the classics. And
I got my War Ensemble. I got my Dead Skin Mask.
Yeah.
You know, I got Hell Awaits. So I was very happy. Those are few of my favorite Slayer songs.
Yeah. Yeah, I think mine has always been Dead Skin Mask, and then probably War Ensemble, Angel of Death, and then of the newer stuff, I love World Painted Blood.
Yeah.
And of course, they didn't play that, but did they play anything off that? They played Hate Worldwide.
Yeah.
I think, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, an hour and a half plus of just pummeling metal, and when they end the show, they have the big Jeff Hanneman logo.
Yep, they had that.
And, you know, everybody's chanting Hanneman, and it's the way it should be. So it's cool that they're not just like moving along with, you know, we're here a couple years, at least 2 or 3 years past him, or more than that, of him being out of the band, and they're still representing it every night.
That's right.
You know, we talked about that when Repentless came out, and we talked about it on this podcast last year, that, you know, both of us are kind of skeptical of the fact we know it's going to sound good because these guys sound good, but what's it going to be like without Hanneman there writing the songs? And, you know, Kerry King pulled it off with Repentless, and you can't say enough about the, you know, who can you get to replace an icon like Jeff Hanneman?
Yeah.
You get another icon of the thrash, you know, genre.
Yeah, exactly.
And Gary Holt, lives up to that because, you know, he's basically the face of Exodus, and, you know, now he's doing it in Slayer too.
Yeah.
And doing an amazing job.
I wonder, I'm sure it's, you know, and it even seems like I probably heard about it, but I wonder, you know, what Kerry King, I wonder what kind of pressure he felt going into writing Repentless, you know?
Sure.
I bet that was crazy. Had to be.
Yeah, because I've heard podcasts and stuff where he talked about writing or doing stuff, but I've never really heard that.
Yeah.
So maybe next year, whenever he's on this podcast, you can ask him
I'll ask him that, okay.
Yeah. Ask him where his spikes were and what kind of pressure he felt.
He'll like that. He'll like that.
Well, are we ready to get into this thing?
Yeah, let's get into this interview. It's great. Ted Aguilar was a super awesome guy and great to talk to, so people are going to dig it.
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, if you're not a Death Angel follower, you need to go check out The Evil Divide. It came out earlier this year. It's a phenomenal heavy metal album. It's got everything you want in metal, and he's going to talk about it here in just a second.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're the thunderunderground.com. Look us up. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff.
All that.
Yeah. All right. Well, here you go. Ted Aguilar, guitarist, Death Angel.
Tested that work. Last time I did an interview with someone, they tested it and they had to redo it on the phone. So make sure it works.
It should. It's pretty good.
All right, man.
We've got a few outside.
How's the noise? It's cool? It's all right?
Yeah, it should work.
All right. I'll try to speak loud.
I can work with it in programs.
Cool.
So these shows has everyone, you know, like they should, pretty much, you know, familiar with you guys, or have you guys met anyone that's won over, or hadn't heard you guys in a while or anything?
As in crowds? Yeah. I mean, of course, we know who, we see our diehards, or the people who've seen us before, from the Death Angel shirts and whatnot. But we met, we do our best to like hang out at the merch booth after and try to meet people, because I'm curious to see if people seen us for the first time or have seen us before. But we met a lot of people who've seen us for the first time. They heard the name, but never saw us. But it was like, oh, might as well see them. They're with my band Slayer. So yeah, we met. We won over some crowds. We're stoked. We're happy, man.
Gotcha. Cool.
Do you notice it helping, like, as far as the new album and everything?
Yeah, people have been buying a lot of vinyl.
Yeah.
Vinyl's a big thing now. It's cool. I mean, our merch sales have been great, and we're happy. We're stoked, and this tour is kick ass.
Yeah.
It's kick ass.
Definitely. Well, this new record's got a lot of critical acclaim and stuff.
Thanks. Yeah, it's we're proud of the record. It's a moment captured in time.
Definitely.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to ask. I mean, it's got a lot of praise, and you said you're proud of it. How do you feel it stands up in the legacy of Death Angel?
It stands up great. It's just, it's where we're at right now. It's just the next chapter of Death Angel. Is it better than others? Some say it is. Some say, maybe not. It's probably like, oh, I like the last one better or this one. But, I think that's a good thing. If you could write records and songs that not everyone's attached to one, then I think you're doing pretty good. But it stands up well. It's basically Death Angel where we're at today.
Gotcha.
We have the foundation of Death Angel, the thrash elements, but some modernness to it, maybe more like the production and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we're always trying to evolve.
Yeah,
that's what you do as artists, but not lose sight of who you are.
Well, this is your third record with Jason Soucof, and when you started working with him on the first one, did you know right then and there it was going to be a lasting thing, or did it just kind of progress as the records went on?
When we first, it was our first time our first time working with Jason. We never met the dude. We met him when we arrived in Florida.
Yeah.
So I mean, Rob's been in talks with him because we liked his production work. We heard a band called August Burns Red, because Rob at the time was teaching guitar lessons, and he still does. And one of his students goes, I want to learn this song. And Rob goes, what band is it? He goes, August Burns Red. And Rob just, man, this production's killer. Started picturing, I wonder how our music would sound with that production. So we got a hold of Jason. We did Relentless with him. We were like stoked. Then the Dream Calls for Blood. We go, let's go back to Jason. It was fun. And this third one, we go, we gotta go to Jason. It's one of those, because it's the third round. Three's a charm. And he knows us really well, and it's like going to your buddy's studio to record an album. There's no really pressure of you're just so comfortable. He knows us really well. He goes, all right, it's your turn to do tracks. Let's do this. I know how things. And you just feel comfortable going, all right. And not only that, his ideas. Like, he has a really good ear. He's a good guitar player, good musician. His ear is very on it. So he'll hear things like, suggest things like, try this and try that. It's what you need in a producer. And not only that, we like his modern day production style. So it's not like he's trying to make us sound like bands of today. He's just making our music have the sound, the sonic sound of today. So
cool.
Well, is he involved in any of the writing with you guys, or do you do all that before you go in the studio?
We do all that before we go in the studio. Then Jason hears it, and he'll just have a few suggestions, like, oh, right there, that chord, why don't you try a different chord, let's see how it sounds, or that little guitar run you do, let's try to do a harmony over it, let's see how it sounds. So he throws out ideas, and we're open to trying them out. Some of them work and some of them doesn't, but he's really open. We're open-minded, and he's open-minded to try a lot of things out, but the songs are done before we go in there.
Okay. Well, as far as writing riffs, do you and Rob write together, or do you write your own stuff and then come together and see what works out? Or
what normally does, Rob is like the main songwriter. I mean, he's Death Angel.
Yeah.
I mean, and as a band, how it works with the songwriting, Rob will write a song with kind of like a basic structure, and he'll have ideas in mind for drum beats, and he'll get together with Will. Goes, here's the song I wrote. Check it out. I had this idea, and him and Will hash it out. Then we'll all come in and kind of see what's going on, and we'll play it. We'll play it for a while, all the songs how Rob has it. Then after we play it for a while and we were used to it, then we throw in our own ideas of, hey man, I kind of hear this on this part, or why don't we extend this a little longer and let's see how it goes. And Rob's open-minded to hearing that. But first what we do is we kind of see what Rob's vision is. Then we start adding the spices and whatnot. And Will has pretty much the freedom to, do his own drum beats. Rob will go, I kind of hear this beat, and we'll just play it for a while, and Will goes, well, that sounds cool, but how about I pick it up here, or let's try something different there. But basically, Rob writes it all, but Rob's open to ideas from us as well.
Well, I recently heard you on Danko Jones's podcast.
Oh,
and
I love Danko.
Yeah, he's great. And he said that you guys are writing some of the best metal of your careers and some of the best metal that's out right now. I mean, that's no pressure. I mean, how does that feel coming from him?
It's cool. I mean, it's very flattering. I mean, we've known Danko for a while, and his story with Death Angel, meeting from the days and all that stuff, and it's cool. And it's very flattering. I'm glad to hear that. I guess we're doing something right. But when we're writing, I don't think we're right. We don't write to think of we got to write the best metal that's out there. We're just writing. Let's just write the killer songs. Let's just write killer Death Angel songs. That's our whole point in mind. But to hear someone like Danko say that and from other peers, that's cool stuff. It's cool, man. It's flattering.
Yeah, well, you're being honest and doing what you want to do, and that somebody picks up on that. That's even better.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I was having this conversation with people like, there is no pressure from our label. They give us artistic freedom. There is no pressure from no one. I mean, we put pressure on ourselves to write good stuff. You know what I mean? But with the internet nowadays, no one's telling you got to write a hit so it's on radio. Right now, I mean, radio will only play it if it's 3 minutes long. And we could write epic songs and put it, YouTube doesn't have that sort of limitation, you know what I mean? Or anywhere on the line. So I guess that's what makes it cool for us. Like, we don't have that pressure. Let's write good songs. If it's a short song or a long song, whatever feels right, cool. There's no one telling us, well, you need to edit it for so-and-so. And no, man, we're not going to compromise on that.
I've noticed a lot of the interviews are done by you, and you've got Rob and Mark in the band as original guys. Like, how did you kind of become the mouthpiece of the band?
Rob and Mark, it's a very good question, young man. Very good question. I mean, Rob and Mark do a lot of the pre-tour interviews, like leading up to the tour and leading up to the release, because a lot of, they do the big major magazines. I mean, a lot of major magazines like the Metal Hammers and whatnot, and they want to talk to Rob and Mark, the original guys. Fuck, take it. They're good with that shit. I've always been, and Rob and Mark, they're always busy on tour. They do the pre-tour stuff, the pre-release. And I told them, we're a team. I'll do the tour stuff. It goes, killer, man. We got to do it as a team,
Yeah.
And, I've always have a soft spot for fanzines and, journalists and publications coming up. Because I've read all that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm like, what's this about? I've always dug the up-and-coming journalists and fanzine stuff.
That's awesome.
More, and I like sitting down. Like, hey, it's kind of like, we're on the same level here. I've done big magazines and stuff like that overseas. I kind of feel intimidated, like, big journalist here. What am I gonna? I'm not seasoned or experienced to deal with you type of people.
Nice.
But no, Rob and Mark does all the pre-tour interviews and the pre-release stuff, because they do ask a lot of the big magazine stuff. Ask for them. So. But I like doing these little ones. They're fun.
Yeah,
they're fun.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate it.
No problem, man.
Well, I had a question. I wanted to ask some guitar stuff.
Yeah.
I really like the white with the white pickups, the white on white that just pops. I mean, how did that come to appeal to you? And I don't know. I just thought that was in. There's always crazy shapes and black and everything. Yeah. So I mean, I just thought that was cool to set it apart.
Finally, a guitar question. That's awesome, dude. No, please do. I've always been a fan of white.
Yeah.
I don't wear white.
Yeah.
Everything's black, like everything. Yeah. But I always thought to myself, I want something non-metal. Non-metal to the point where it's metal. If you know what I'm saying.
I get it. Totally.
So I've been playing ESP guitars, and I had this idea. I told ESP, they approached me, do you want a custom guitar? You've been with us for a while. You never asked for any custom guitars. I'm like, well, the guitars you you gave me are so killer. I mean, I never thought of getting a custom, but since you asked, I got this idea. So my first custom guitar was, I said I want it all white. I mean, if you can get the hardware white, I mean literally white pick everything. So they got it to the point they couldn't do the fret white.
Yeah.
You know, you can't. Yeah. I go, I want my tuning pegs white. They go, we don't have white. I go, abalone. And they go, all right. I'm just trying to get as much white possible. And it's a one pickup configuration, one volume knob. That's my original custom. And it's still my favorite guitar till this day. Took it all, I've had it for like 5 years. Took it around the world, and people kept asking, dude, people go, you bit that off Buckethead. Well, you know what? I know Bucket had a white one. Cool, right on. I want a white one too. Yeah. Who says, what rules are there to say you can't? It's just like saying so-and-so has a black guitar. Right?
Everyone's got a black guitar.
Thank you. But I like the cleanness of it.
Yeah.
And I just like the look of it.
Yeah.
So, again, I played it around the world. My favorite guitar, and people have been asking about it. Dude, I like your white, blah, blah, blah. I go, cool, thank you. I go, you know, if you want one, just get a hold of ESP, and they'll probably make you one. They're good guitars, blah, blah, blah. And then one day, ESP goes, let's do a signature one. I go, whoa. At first, I was like, that's cool, but I'm not really one of these virtuoso shredder dudes. I'm just happy that I got my kind of like dream guitar. Like, all right, I'm stoked. That's all I care about. But they go, no, let's try it. Let's see how it works. So I have the prototype that I've been playing. It's all white, but 2 pickups and 1 volume knob, and the toggle switch is at the bottom instead of the top.
Nice.
So I said, all right, and I'm playing and I love it. I'm like, fuck, I can't. Should I go back to? I call him Proto because he's a prototype.
Yeah.
My original one, we call him Casper. So I go, I can't go. I don't know what go back between Casper and Proto, but it's great, man. I like it. Yeah. And not only that, I play Mesa Boogies. I have white cabs.
Oh yeah, nice.
And I have Mesa Boogie Mark V's cased in white. So it's a white theme. It's cool because Rob's all black on his end. I got all white on my end, and the new album, The Evil Divide's black and white.
Right.
So there's a story. It's a long one, but
no, it's good. And as far as like your speed and dexterity, what do you do to keep that up, and how did you hone that when you were starting out?
Practice.
Yeah.
It's basically practice and trying to learn other songs. So when you play thrash metal, I grew up playing, learning thrash metal.
Yeah.
There's a lot of picking, and especially down picking palm muting. That's hard to do, because every player they play different. You're just practicing, and on the road you get a lot of practice playing every night, and usually I try to warm up. Rob and Damien warms up a lot. I try to warm up with them at least an hour before the set. Just pick.
Yeah.
Up and down, or just play riffs, just to get your wrist flowing.
Yeah.
But just practice, really, and just try to find a song you like to play and learn it.
Yeah. Nice.
That's how everyone learns, When you pick up a guitar and you get with friends, I love Slayer. Well, let's learn some Slayer songs, and whatever. But
Right.
When you grew up listening to thrash, were you into Death Angel on the early albums?
Oh, dude, I was at their video shoot for Voracious Souls. They're called Ultraviolence, dude. It was at the Stone in San Francisco. I think it was July of '87. I was the first one in line. I bought my ticket in advance, first one in line. I was at that show. It was Death Angel, Violence Before Eternal Nightmare came out, I think, and some band from Fresno, California called Betrayal, which they're a good thrash band. So I saw Death Angel on all 3 albums. I saw them on the Ultraviolence album. I saw them on the Frolic Through the Park album. And I saw them on the Act 3. In days of thrash. It was a great time in the Bay Area. I saw Violence multiple times. Saw Testament, Exodus. Got to see them on Heathen, Defiance. All those bands. It was killer. It's a trip. To this day, I trip out. Hey, I tell Rob, yeah, I remember that show. I saw you guys at that show. We just sit there. Oh, you were? Yeah, dude. I remember sawing you. Me and my friend got kicked out for stage diving during your set. So it's pretty cool. It's weird. It's surreal.
Yeah. I bet. Yeah.
So.
Well, you mentioned videos, and you guys have done a ton of videos off these last few albums. And are you guys involved in the concept, or do you leave that up to the director? Or?
Well, the last couple of videos, Rob's really involved. Rob's the creative force in the band, so he's involved with the director. He goes, hey man, this is what the song's about. We are thinking about, like the last video, Lost, me and Rob talked about it. I go, thinking of black and white, and this is what the song's about. And fucking our Tommy Jones, our producer, who did the Thrashimentary and he did the Lost video, he comes back, this is the treatment, this is what I was thinking about. We read it, oh, that's cool, and let's do this and that. But it's we're involved in that concept, really.
Okay.
We're involved in it.
Okay, forgive me if this is a stupid question.
There's no stupid questions. I might give you a stupid answer.
Do you think Metallica stole your guys' thunder by using the Moth?
Wow. I hope they don't read this. I think it's a trip.
Yeah.
It's a trip. Like I really do like that song though.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
great.
I think it's a great song, but it is a trip.
Yeah.
Like we have the song called The Moth, and they have Moth into Flame. But I'll say we came out with it first.
There you go.
We came to the table with it first. I don't know who wrote it first, but we were the first ones out.
Yeah.
I think it's a trip, you know, and I think, you know, when I heard it, I go, wow, it's a really good song.
Yeah.
It's a really great song, and I don't know. I can't really answer that. That's something for maybe James to answer if you ever get to interview James.
I got it.
Yeah, one day.
Yeah.
Well, that was cool that you got to open for him at that 30th anniversary deal.
Oh, that was awesome, man.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, they're out of metal, they're my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
It's no secret to the band and to people I know, people who know me. They're like my go-to band.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of people, like Will Carroll, his go-to band is Kiss.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people's go-to band is Kiss, or a lot of go-to band Slayer or Iron Maiden or whatnot. But that Metallica show was incredible. The way they run it, the way they treat the bands, their fans. It was a celebration of 30 years, man. I mean, they didn't have to do shows like that. You know, they did it for their fans, you know, and they had us like, hey, why don't you guys play our show? We're celebrating 30 years. We're from the Bay Area. Let's, you know, and they treated us well. And man, I mean, the way, like I said, for a band at that level, they didn't have to do that. And it was basically for their fans. And that's like, I give them much respect for that. And, you know, they look and they go up there looking like they have the greatest time of their life. And that's very inspiring and good to see. Like, man, it's no excuse. Like, look at that. A band at that level still going out playing clubs for their fans and having a great time as if they were playing to thousands. That's very inspiring. And great guys, great band, and we had a good time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I bet.
We had a good time. So,
Well, they had the big 4 shows. I always kind of wondered why there wasn't a tour with like you guys and Exodus and Overkill, Testament, Sacred Reich, Metal Church. You know, it would be cool, you know, if you just said, here's everybody else, come check this out.
you know what would be cool? I had the idea, if they're listening, they could have the big 4 shows, like make it a festival.
Yeah.
You know, like at the big
yeah.
4 shows, then on the other stage, start the day off with the Testaments, the Exodus.
Yeah.
Then when when that's over, everyone goes to the big stage for Anthrax. And, you know, I mean, it'd be cool. I mean, but I don't know. There's probably so much red tape and logistics behind it. I mean, on paper it sounds good, and to the fans it sounds good, but I bet it's a nightmare having to. All right, how are we gonna do this? You know, trying to get the arena, and I don't know, but. As a dream, it sounds killer. You know, just have it traveling festival. You know, like they do in Europe. Like, do you know how successful that'd be?
Oh man, it'd be great.
You know, everyone would have a good time. Everyone would just be all, what?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. As fans, we all have like our dream bills, and we always talk about that kind of stuff.
Oh, dude,
Everybody
I do
does
too.
it, yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
But you know, then you get to the behind the scenes, like, how's it gonna work now? It sounds good on paper. Look, the logos look cool.
Yeah.
It sounds cool. Fans will probably go, hell yeah. Then they're over here, they're over there, and the cost, you know, all the logistics.
You got to have a whole separate set of rules for Dave Mustaine, you know, all kinds of stuff.
I have no idea. I never met the guy, so I wouldn't know. But you know, it's just you're dealing with different, you know, bands who have, you know, you're dealing with all bands who could headline on their own.
Yeah,
so
no
having
kidding.
to put that together, it's like whoa.
It'd be crazy.
Yeah, so that'd be nice.
What's your favorite tour you think you've been a part of?
This one,
Right now?
for sure,
Really?
for sure, without a doubt. I mean, the Slayer camp, an amazing group of people. The band, the crew, they make sure everyone on their tour is treated right and has a good show. There's no egos. You know, everyone knows, like, we're touring with Slayer. They come up, let's have a good show, guys. You guys need help with anything. They want to make sure you have a good show. You know, like, they're bringing you out. Slayer, to me, Slayer comes off as a band that they don't want to put a band that's not going to have a good show. Like, what do you need to have a good show? You know, there's no egos. It's incredible. Anthrax crew, you know, they make sure Anthrax has a good show. They make sure we have a good show. It's just like, let's have a good show so the fans are happy. That's the most important thing. When you see how they run their operations, like, wow, man, I wish a lot of bands would run it like this. They know what they're doing. And the guys themselves are very down to earth. You know, you see Tom Mariah, how you guys doing? Just comes and hangs out. You know, Carrie goes, hey, what's up? You know, we know Gary Holt and Tom from the Bay, you know, Gary Holt and Paul from the Bay Area. Yeah. So we know them. So everyone, this whole touring circus, it's not even a circus. It's like, it's just fun, man. And they, you know, you just feel like a part of their crew. It feels great.
Yeah, well-oiled machine.
Yeah, you don't feel distant from anyone. You don't feel like, oh, you can't go there because so-and-so, you know, like, you can't do this. No, they go, hey, come hang out while they're setting up. You're like, hey, what's going on? You just feel welcome. And it just makes us and everyone have a good show when you have that welcoming thing, like, you know what I mean? Because we're all in it as a team. You know, people are coming to see the show. Let's give everyone a good time, and let's have a good time at the same time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, what's great is that, you know, you used to always hear those horror stories about bands opening up for Slayer and the fans, like, booing them and stuff, but now they're taking out bands that obviously have that fan base already built in.
Yeah.
You know, over the last few years. So,
I mean,
I just excited to see the show. Personally.
Oh, it's great. I mean, I don't know, man. We couldn't be any happier. It's just, wow. You know, it's just an amazing tour. And the fact that they chose us to go out, we're like, let's do this.
That's right.
And, you know, welcomed us to their whole entourage. It's like, man, I haven't, as far as I've been in the band and touring 15 years with Death Angel, I never seen anything run so smoothly and awesome as how Slayer runs it.
It's great.
It's very inspiring. Yeah.
Nice.
Would you guys have headline run planned after this? Or?
Right now, we're going to end on the high note after this. And, you know, go home and, you know, take a little break, enjoy the holidays. We have some Christmas shows in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. We usually do them every year, an annual one. After that, enjoy the rest of the holiday. We're doing that 70,000 tons next year cruise. Yeah. And we plan to do stuff after that. Where and with who, we're still working that out, but we plan to tour. But for sure, we'll be in summer next year in Europe for the summer festivals. Yeah. But we'll do some touring between February and like June. There will be some stuff, but we're trying to work it out right now, you know. But we want to tour a lot for this album, you know.
Definitely.
But it'd be nice to try to get on more tours like this to get more exposure to people.
Yeah.
Then, you know, take it from there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Man, well, appreciate your time.
No, thanks, man. Thanks.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
I'm no Rob or Mark, but hey.
No.
That's not what I meant.
I know.
I was just curious.
I know. I'm just giving you shit.
Hell yeah. Thanks. We appreciate it.
No problem, man.
There you go, Ted Aguilar from Death Angel. Very stoked to have that guy on this podcast, talk about that stuff. Just another guy from an amazing thrash band on here. We've had a few others. We'll get to that in a minute. But
that's right.
Thank you very much to him for doing that. Thank you to Liz from Earsplit PR. Thank you to Robin, their tour manager. And thank you to you for listening. And thank you to you, Jason, for being here.
Oh, hey, well.
Yeah. I'm just throwing out thanks randomly there.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty jazzed, you know, to have, a guy from, a Bay Area thrash. And I mean, I was a little nervous, I'll talk about it. And it was just really cool to sit down and talk. And he was really excited and he was really engaging. So, yeah, I mean, it was just, thanks Ted Aguilar for sure.
Yeah. And, he joked about there at the end, I haven't listened to that interview back yet, but I hope I came up. What I was trying to ask was, I think he got the gist of it because he talked about it.
Yeah, like you said, he was just giving you shit, man.
Yeah.
He knew. He was a cool guy.
Yeah, I was just trying to say, how did you become the face of the band, basically, since, there's guys that have been there way longer than you, and some, most cases that doesn't happen. So.
Yeah, and it's funny because because, you know, we went into the whole Moth talk and stuff, you know, and it was just, you know, funny to you know, he didn't mean anything by it, but it was just funny for him to kind of rib Metallica a little bit. It was great.
Right. Well, like I mentioned, if you love some Death Angel, we've had on Sid Falk, who was in Overkill. That's a great one. We've had on, who else have we had on that was thrash? I'm drawing a blank. I talked a big talk. Well, we've had
Chris
on
Broderick from Megadeth, Act of Defiance.
Yeah, Chris Broderick is an amazing guitarist.
That's right.
You know and love him. And then we've had on newer guys from newer bands like Richie Cavalier from Insight a couple times. We've had on Kyle Gunther from Battlecross,
yeah,
twice as well. And we've had on guys from all kinds of great bands like The Sword and Drowning Pool, Murder FM, Scattered Hamlet, Corrosion and Conformity. We've had on guys from, if you like 80s rock, we've had on guys from Warrant and Europe, Trickster, Great White. We've had on guys from... You need to help me out here.
I know. I'm drawing a blank. It's Monday. It was a rough day.
Kirk Winstein from Down, and of course, more importantly at this point, Crowbar.
That's right.
Which Crowbar has a new album coming out soon. Very stoked for that.
Yeah. We've had Ryan Neff from Miss May I on.
Yeah.
You know, we've had Delacoma. That's one we kind of forget to talk about a lot.
Yeah, that's a very cool one.
But that was a very, very good one. So yeah, we've had
Elias, the vocalist for Nonpoint, was on here.
Nonpoint, yeah. We even kind of went off the deep end a little bit and got like Shooter Jennings on. We've had Ian Moore. So we just try to cover
Willie
it all.
Nelson's coming soon, I think.
I wish.
Right. Well, yeah, go check all that out. It's all on soundcloud.com/Thunder-Underground. Also, they're all on thethunderunderground.com. Just click on the podcast section and scroll down. They're all there. We've also got reviews up on there, photos. We've got an Instagram where we've got all kinds of great stuff on it. And then we're on YouTube. Of course, we're on Facebook at The Thunder Underground. And we're on Twitter, THNDRUNDR Ground. We're also on Periscope as well. Speaking of YouTube, we have a couple videos up with reaction videos where we just talk about the 2 new Metallica singles, one of which came up earlier in this conversation.
That's right.
With Ted. And then we're going to have more of that stuff coming soon your way. There's also the video version of the Battlecross, our first Battlecross interview from over a year ago.
Yeah.
So just get on YouTube and check that out.
It's all there.
Yeah. Well, what else do we got? We want to mention that coming in the next week and a half, we're going to have a podcast with Eric Kluber, who is in the band Ironaut, and he's also in the band Void Vader. He's been in other bands that you may know and love, like Gypsy Hawk and White Wizard.
Yeah.
We had a great talk with this dude. He's got some killer music. Everything he's done has been great.
Yeah. And
the old stuff, the new stuff.
Oh, no, and he's got some good stuff to say. So, yeah, well, that was a good one.
And we've also got 2 of the members of Guns 4 Roses.
That's right. Not Guns N' Roses, Guns 4 Roses.
Yeah. They're a tribute band out of Dallas. They put on the full spectacle. We saw it live. We'll talk about that. And they're not just some silly little tribute band. They're the real deal. They've got like 3 million followers on Facebook. They're playing Bogota, Colombia this weekend.
Yeah, they get it done.
Yeah. So get on there, follow Guns 4 Roses, and be looking for that in a week or so. And we've also got other great stuff coming as well.
Of course.
Yeah. Tonight we're going to see King, Clutch, and Zach Sabbath. You'll hear about that next time, because I'm pretty sure that's going to kick some ass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
Can't wait to see Zach Sabbath. I guess we'll just leave it at that.
Leave it at that.
All right. Until next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.